everyone. I can't begin to tell all of you how honored I am to be here tonight, and how honored I am to have an award such as this presented to me. Because honestly, I am not the person who should be getting an award tonight.
She is.
I know how many of you know and love this family. I know how many of you know and love Brooke. But I met Brooke and her mom and dad at the beginning of an awful journey. And from the moment I met all of them, it was very clear to me the courage that each one of them had, the resolve they had to make sure that every day that they were there with Brooke was going to be a good day for Brooke. And without explaining exactly how difficult those days were from my eyes, it's just important for everyone here to know that there's no way a little girl like Brooke could go through these days and have happy moments unless she had parents like these two right next to her. Because as far as Brooke was concerned, and judging from the way they were acting, everything was okay. So no matter how bad things were, no matter how unwell Brooke felt, she took her cues from her mom and dad and went forward and had, I only know some of the happy moments. Most of you in this room know all of the happy moments she had. So let me just talk a little bit about Brooke. So, beautiful Brooke, as all of you know. I was just explaining to her mom now, the image I carry with Brooke, of Brooke in my heart, and I always will, is from the beginning when I met her. That gorgeous little face that's smiling at us as we come into this golf outing today. Her smile lit up the room. I know you just said that, but our exam room is not always a very happy place. We don't always have such wonderful news to give to people. If I was able to get Brooke to smile for 5 seconds, it lit up the room. When she laughed, you couldn't help but laugh as well. It was a laugh that came right from the bottom of her belly. And sometimes I was trying to get her to laugh, and sometimes she would laugh just because of what I was saying, which is even funnier. But you get her to laugh, and it made my day. She was always very quiet with us, Brooke. She would have preferred to be somewhere else, obviously. She had a really, really good trick of when she'd had enough, she just closed her eyes like she was asleep. I always thought she kind of hoped that if she kept her eyes closed, maybe we would disappear. But then if you said something, or particularly addressed a question to her, then you got a very appropriate nod. So Brooke was always listening to us. Brooke was always listening to every word that was said. If I asked her questions, as her mom said from the beginning, I knew that Brooke was in charge. So very important questions I asked Brooke. Brooke was always very, very down to earth with her answers. She was always cooperative. No matter how she felt, no matter how long the day had been, no matter how long the trip had been, and now that I drove here tonight, I realized how far she came every day. No matter how exhausted that little girl was, no matter what had to be done in that room with she and I, she was always completely cooperative. She was so happy when her brother was with her. I mean, it was a different child coming in that room when her brother was with her. Always happy when family stories were brought up, when she talked about her little sister. And very special for me, the day that they told me they were having another baby. The look in Brooke's eyes, I can't even begin to describe it. So let me tell you a little bit from my perspective about Stephanie and Steve. Brave, devoted parents, caring for every detail, details that as a nurse practitioner I would think I'd like to think of all the details, but details that only a parent can attend to, and attend to with such love that the child feels that from the moment they wake up till the moment they go to sleep. It was a sense, as Stephanie so beautifully said, but I knew that they struggled and worked very hard to maintain a sense of normalcy so that their 2 children at home, and Brooke, when she returned home, had a normal life. So that when Brooke left us, she went back to being part of the Happy Healy family. All kinds of activities, all kinds of people in and out of the house, all kinds of things that Brooke loved. And when she would come back and it would be brought up, that's what would bring a smile to her face. We met this lovely couple as they were thrust into this world that they were working very hard every day to understand from a parent's point of view, understand from a scientific point of view. I have never, and I can say this, I've been a nurse practitioner for 27 years, I have never met someone like Steve Healy who would come in with studies and questions clearly from hours and hours of research. I know he had people helping him, but he was the one that would come in and articulate what was out there, what more could we do, what more could he do. It's something I will always remember. And again, as I've said before, the fact that these two people, and we all know how much they were hurting, to come in that room to us with Brooke, have a conversation with us, that this is the way it is, everything's okay, what you're doing is fine, Brooke is doing fine, move on to the next thing, is nothing short of miraculous. I can't begin to imagine, as a nurse practitioner, the strength that would take from parents on a daily basis. I am so honored tonight, which I've said before, but I feel like I have to keep saying it. But I want everyone to understand that it's parents like Steve and Stephanie who we need to honor and remember with events such as these. Because it is because of them, and I believe this, that at some point in the medical career, maybe not my medical career, but hopefully, that we are going to find the cause for DIPG and a treatment that actually works. And it's only because of fundraisers like this and money that's then put into research and helping other families that we're able to go forward with this particular horrible disease. I want also all of us in this room to honor and remember their resiliency and their desire to help other families who are suffering. Because nobody understands better than Steve and Stephanie how much other families in similar situations are suffering on a day-to-day basis. It is because of Brooke, however, that we must always remember and honor by giving back. Because again, it seems very natural for Steve and Stephanie to be doing all these fundraisers and making this incredible effort to give back. But there's a lot of families who simply are not able to do that. They simply are not able to pick themselves up and go forward saying, okay, this is our life, this is what we're going to do to make the lives of others better. And that's something that is really inspiring for me to be a part of here. So I want you to know that Brooke will always live forever in my heart. She has a very special part. That little smile just kind of sits there. I know she's going to live forever in your hearts. And with all our efforts to continue helping Stephanie and Steve with all their fundraising efforts, the spirit of Brooke is always going to be front and center for so many people. Thank you so very much for listening to me today, and I'm very, very happy to be part of this lovely evening. Thank you.
All right.